Whatever you're carrying right now, put it down. We're about to shake it loose anyway. Hey, it's Laughing Crow here. The scroll, the to-do list, the argument with your cousin, let them go. We're not here to be polite today. We're here to move something. This is big. It's physical. And listen, it might mess with your hair a little. Let's get going. You ever catch yourself thinking, I'm not ready for that yet? Not ready to say no, not ready to shine, not ready to stop shrinking? Here's the uncomfortable truth. That's not wisdom. That's an expired permission slip. And honestly, some of them were signed by a 7-year-old in Crayon while someone was yelling in the next room. You know, I had a client, let's call her Mel. Brilliant woman, could read a room in 30 seconds flat. She had intuition sharp as a tack. And just a lovely, kind person. But absolutely bloody paralysed. Every time she got close to something real, a promotion, a boundary, leaving a relationship that had been quietly eating her alive for years, she'd stop dead, pull back, and just announce she wasn't ready. She'd built an entire spiritual practice around waiting to be ready. Crystal grids, journaling, breathwork, moon rituals, all of it beautiful, all of it lovely and genuine, but all of it, if she was honest, a very elegant way of never actually moving. When we finally sat down together, I asked her one question. Who told you that you needed permission to go? That was a question. She went quiet for a long time. Then she said, my mum, I think, and her mum before that, and maybe every teacher I ever had who told me to wait my turn. There it was. Not a healing issue, not a readiness issue. It was a permission issue. She'd been running on a contract she never consciously signed, one that said, stay small to stay safe. And that was from about 8 years old. A bloody long time. Look, we didn't do a ceremony. We didn't light anything on fire. Well, not that day anyway. I just asked her to say out loud, I give myself permission to go. She cried, then she laughed at herself for crying, and then cried again. But you know what? That was the day the real work started. Not the waiting work, the moving work. So, what actually is a permission slip of the soul? It's the moment when your soul says yes, your mind says maybe, and your shadow says, we'll see. It's that inner shift that gives you access to the next stage of awakening. And that may be speaking your truth, quitting a job that eats your soul for breakfast, or finally going to therapy instead of just doing breathwork and hoping your trauma will leave. And you know what? Most of us are still operating on outdated permission slips. I know I am. They're ones we signed in childhood, under duress, in crayon, next to a drawing of a dragon labelled mum. Or even worse, the ones that society wrote for us without our consent. And they look a bit like this. I have to stay small to be safe. I'm not allowed to say no unless I have a reason that makes everyone else comfortable. I can only receive love if I work for it, fix people, or absorb their emotional mess. If I rest, I'm lazy. Or if I cry, I'm weak. But here's where the spiral return starts. And it begins with number 1, seeing the pattern. It's tracking the word can't. Every time you think, I can't do that, ask yourself who said. Was it you? Or a traumatised version of you wearing someone else's belief system like a hand-me-down sweater? And I know that's not a small question, but that one question is a thread that unravels the whole thing. Step 2 is feel it. Don't fix it. The nervous system is a truthometer. If your body tightens at a thought, your permission slip needs a rewrite. If it relaxes and expands, it's probably in alignment. You know, when Mel said the words, "I give myself permission to go," her body had started shaking before she even finished the sentence. Now, that wasn't weakness. That was the nervous system recognizing a truth it had been waiting years to hear. You don't fix that response. You feel it. You let it move through. That's the actual healing. But then that brings us to step 3. Name the lie. You know, some outdated contracts are obvious. Things like, "I must suffer to grow." But others, they're a bit sneakier. They go something like, "If I heal, I won't be able to connect with people anymore." Spoiler alert, you can actually connect better when you're not leaking spiritual battery acid. And my old mentor, Eagle Eye, now listen, that man spent decades dragging hard truths out of me. But he still finds ways to needle me, even from the other side. But he had a way of putting it that I've never been able to improve on. He'd say, "The soul don't move till the heart agrees, and the heart don't budge till the ego shuts up." The lie is usually just the ego's insurance policy. It sounds like protection, it feels like wisdom. It is, if you look at it square, just simply fear in yoga pants. That's it. Fear. But that brings us to step 4. Draw the line. This is a part where you get a bit bureaucratic with your spiritual badassery. You actually rewrite the slip. Say it out loud. Because speaking truth vibrates it into form. Write it down. Sign it. Look, stamp it with a potato if that's what you've got. But give yourself permission to do it. I give myself permission to shine without apology. I give myself permission to say no even when people are disappointed. I give myself permission to trust my intuition over external approval. I give myself permission to evolve beyond who others think I am. And then step 5. Now, listen up, because this one's important. This is the one that everyone skips. Step 5 is live the shift. Look, updated permission means nothing unless it's actually backed by choices, boundaries, and you know what? Actually showing up when you'd rather hide behind a crystal the size of your guilt complex. Peter, my spirit guide, who honestly has the energy of an uncle who died knowing exactly too much and enjoys every second of that advantage. He once showed up in a vision, a dream, holding an old-fashioned scroll that read, "Permission to leave the Matrix. Granted." Now look, that's his version of encouragement, and honestly I've had worse. But the point stands. Your awakening isn't waiting for the moon to align or your trauma to be fully healed before you move. It's waiting for you to authorize your next step. Listen to that again. It's waiting for you to authorize your next step. You're not broken. You've just been running on expired permissions. Look, I've walked this exact process with people across thousands of consultations, courses, and teachings over more than 30 years. Every single time, the block isn't capability. It's never capability. It's an old contract, and it's running quietly in the background that nobody ever told them they're actually allowed to cancel. Once you see that, once you trace it back to who signed it and when, the whole thing shifts. Not slowly, it shifts fast. Look, if any of this landed somewhere a bit tender, that's worth paying attention to. It's where the truth lands. Start with the pattern compass. It's free, it takes 5 minutes, and it'll show you exactly where your oldest permission ships are still running the show. You can find it at living5d3d.com. If this stirred something in you, and you do want to go deeper than a video can take you, that's exactly what Earth School is for. Come find your people. Come do the real work. The link's below. Stay curious, stay grounded, and I'll catch you around the fire. Laughing Crow out.